What a way to start off the college football year. When one of your rivals gets beat, especially early, it's kind of satisfying as a Florida Gator fan. Listen, I'm not going to go too much into Florida State. I know it's probably a rough day for them. Doesn't really make me have too much empathy, but I'm going to be kind of nice to y'all. And the reason why is because I think y'all were lied to. I'm not sure who told y'all DJU. I don't really know how to pronounce his last name. Was a good quarterback. That you were lied to. You were lied about your offensive line. They're not very good. Your defensive line is not very good either. So DJU was 19 of 27, 193 yards. It's like, okay, that's decent. But it just, nothing was going. Whenever he had open receivers downfield, he wasn't hitting them. Like his 8 incompletions, I mean, he probably could have went 27 to 27. He just wasn't hitting his open receivers. He had receivers open, just was missing them. But that's been his problem throughout his career. He's 23. You would think he would know, or he could do that kind of stuff, especially as a former 5-star quarterback. I'm not sure who rated him as a 5-star quarterback coming out of high school. Listen, this is not a DJU trying to like bash him video, but this is just Florida State. Listen, top 10 team. I thought that was kind of high. I'm not going to lie. I did not think they were a top 10 team to begin with. How much talent they lost with Jared Verse and Jordan Travis. Really, DJU was nowhere near Jordan Travis. I made fun of Jordan Travis last year, but he is nowhere near Jordan Travis, and Florida State fans see that now. You know, you're in Ireland. I get it, but both teams were. Georgia Tech went to Ireland as well, so you can't use that excuse. Georgia Tech just looked like the hungrier team. Their defense was really good. They could do something Florida State couldn't, was tackle. Georgia Tech's actually tackling really was well, but Florida State going to the running well. I'm not sure. They ran the ball 31 times for 98 yards. They didn't even break 100. 3.2 yard per carry average. Georgia Tech knew. They were like, hey, we're just going to stop the run. We're going to let DJU try to beat us throwing. DJU beat them on his last drive. 2 4th-down conversions. He threw the ball very well, but that was like his one drive. Other than that, he really didn't do much. There was no spectacular throws from him. Really, all he had to do was make the simple throws, and he could not do that throughout the game. And Georgia Tech gets the upset victory. A lot of people thought Georgia Tech had a shot. Now, Florida State was still a 10.5-point favorite, but Georgia Tech came in and stung the Florida State Seminoles. And the only thing, you know, more satisfying than the win Georgia Tech got was you don't have to hear the Florida State band doing that, whatever that song is. Florida State, come up with a different song. I'm sorry. Y'all keep doing this word chant every 5 seconds. It's annoying. I think the people of Ireland were getting annoyed with it too. So, you know, I mean, throughout the game, I kept hearing that. I'm like, my God, come up with something different. But Haynes King for Georgia Tech was impressive, even though his stats weren't. Sometimes you got to watch a game. You can't just stat watch. You know, you can't look, let me look at the stats, see how they did. Listen, Haynes King from 2 years ago when he was at Texas A&M, I thought he was bad. I thought he was a terrible quarterback. But today he impressed me with some of the zip on his passes. You know, listen, 11 of 16, 146 yards, not very good. But listen, his running ability is what set him apart. I didn't think he was that dynamic of a runner. You know, I just never thought of him like that. 15 carries for 54 yards, but it was tough running. He wasn't going down. He was lowering his shoulder. So Georgia Tech put on a great game. Florida State, I mean, they got to go back to the drawing board. Their offensive line, not very good. Defensive line, I mean, that was supposed to be their strength. That was one of their weaknesses in this game against Georgia Tech. So, you know, as satisfying it was as a Florida fan, it was like, man, has Florida State fallen that far off? I mean, just last year, they were undefeated. You know, they were crying. I know they were pouting, but they had to play Georgia. They could have made a statement. They got beat down by Georgia, and now their first game of the year, they lose to Georgia Tech. So, you know, Florida State fans have got to be very frustrated, especially as they're at this performance, because this is not good. You can blame this on players. You can blame this on coaching, because why keep running the ball whenever Georgia Tech is stuffing the run and they're making you throw? That should be, I mean, I'm not sure why they kept going to the run when it wasn't working. I mean, after 15, 20 times, you saw that it just was not there. You got to come up with something. Stretch it out. Do some, running back screens. Get your running backs in space. Roydell Williams is a good running back. Lawrence Toafili is a good running back. I've seen these running backs. Listen, I hate on Florida State, but Toafili is a really good running back. Why are these guys? I mean, Roydell Williams, 12 carries for 38 yards. Toafili, he had 8 carries for 32 yards, but it was on one run. He had a 28-yard rushing touchdown. So, it's just, man, Florida State, their coaching, it was actually abysmal throughout the game. But as a Florida fan, yes, I was excited. As soon as that ball went through the uprights, Georgia Tech walks it off with a 40-something yard field goal to end it. It was, satisfying. I wasn't sure if the kicker, because he already missed one before, how his mentality was. But, that's college football, man. College football is so great. I'm so glad it's back. As a Florida fan, I can't wait for my Florida Gators to take on Miami. But, man, Florida State, 0-1 to start the year as a top 10 team. Will they fall out of top 25? It's going to be interesting. I think they're going to, I don't know if they'll fall out of top 25. I think they're going to be that 20 to 25 range because they only lost by 3. But, man, they have got to work on a lot of things from now until, I don't know who they play next week, but they're going to have to figure some things out rather quickly. But not a great start to the year for Florida State, but a great start for a Florida Gator fan like me who doesn't have too many wins throughout for the past couple of years. I will take this as a win. But hey, guys, as always, I appreciate y'all watching this channel. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great one.